Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the real secret to training your mind and the simple truths that may just rock your world on this subject. So, since I've been immersed in the coaching industry over the last 8 years, it completely blows my mind that even though all the information is readily available on how to train your mind, if you look for it, it's not taught as a mainstream topic. And this is incredible because we're not taught how to live up to our full potential. We're not taught how to use the most powerful tools that we have available to us. And that's our mind, or our minds, plural. I'm going to talk to you about in this episode. And it seems that there is some importance placed on intelligence from like a cognitive reasoning and logic perspective, and people talk about, IQ, uh, but very little is there a focus on intelligence from an emotional perspective. And we aren't taught how to harness our own potential and the ability that we have to create what we want in our lives. Okay, we learn about maths and English and science and those kinds of things, but never really how to operate ourselves. Who's ever got the manual to how to be human, how to operate all of this software and hardware that you have innately within you, right? And we can tell, we know this because we can look at the state of uh, how a lot of people live, right? It tells you they don't know how to use these tools that we all have in an effective way. Okay, so and this was true for me just as it is for so many of my clients, right? There was a time when I was completely oblivious of how to use my mind correctly. But the good news is, of course, that the information is available now. And as long as you choose to find it, search for it, learn it, and apply it for yourself, then there's no stopping you. And so I'm going to be dishing some truths today about, when applied correctly, these truths will totally blow your mind and how you think. So here's the thing, right? Some people understand coaching. So when we talk about training your mind, most people think about coaching, right? You're getting a coach, and a coach can help you to focus on what you want. And some understand coaching from purely a conscious mind perspective. Okay, so that might be using discipline and focus and reframing and goal setting. Okay, which is good. But if in that form of coaching, the unconscious mind is not attended to, then what can happen is that often people who are very conscious focused in their coaching or their approach can be high achievers, right? They can be high achievers because they're like, okay, I can focus on what I want, and I can, can make things happen. I'm an action-based person. But what happens is if their unconscious mind isn't attended to, they can tend to have these revolving patterns in their life, or their relationships come up. Might be around money or their health, or, you know, personal relationships, right? And these things just coming around in patterns and revolving, and they just can't seem how to resolve them. So they get focused and they take action and set goals, but then sure enough come back with the same kind of patterns. And so high achievers can also get to a point where they come to realize that no matter what achievements that they make, they still don't feel satisfied with life. And this can be a big problem, right? This can be a big problem. On the other hand, though, there are those who get deeply involved with working with the unconscious mind, and they might be doing lots of hypnosis or other sort of energy healing, which feels great at the time. But if they don't attend to training their conscious mind, again, they can end up having similar problems recreated in their life down the track. Okay, because if you just do work at the unconscious level, but you haven't trained your conscious mind, you can just go and reinstall the stuff that you've shifted. So that's really important. And then, of course, we have people that are highly spiritual. Okay, and they spend loads of time meditating and downloading. There's I had all these downloads, but never seem to really be able to apply all this spirituality or downloads in a way that actually creates any real difference in their life. Or they're still in their everyday life, they're having money problems or they're having relationship problems or whatever's going on in their real world because they don't know how to integrate their spirituality into life. Okay, because this is the thing, we are physical humans living in the physical 3D material plane, which means, yes, spirituality is good, but you're not living in the spiritual plane. You have to know how to apply in the physical reality. Okay, now the thing is that we can't separate, avoid, or deny any of these three parts of ourselves or any of these three minds if we want to create real change. If we want to really evolve as humans in this physical reality, we need to be able to attend to all three of those areas. So, to attend to those, we first of all have to have awareness of what they are and what the roles are of each of these different parts of our mind. So, whether it's our conscious mind, our unconscious mind, or our higher conscious mind, we need to understand what is each. What is the role of each? For what purpose? How do we use them? How do I interpret what's coming through to me? And so that I can then operate as a whole integrated unit, accessing my highest potential. Okay, so yes, we need to train our conscious mind. This is really, really important. We have to train our conscious mind. We have to train it to focus precisely on what we want. And we also need to train it to communicate to our unconscious mind as a parental figure. And that means showing care, right? This is showing self care, self love, and compassion. Okay, to ourselves. This is the important thing through our actions, our thoughts, our self talk, our behavior. Because sometimes people can be like, oh, yeah, I'm really focused on what I want. But as soon as they make an error, they go, oh, that was so stupid. Why do I do such stupid things? Well, that's an untrained mind because your mind should never speak to yourself like that, right? Conscious mind needs to speak to the unconscious mind with care and compassion and love. And we need to communicate with our unconscious mind in a way where we acknowledge our needs, we acknowledge our desires, we acknowledge our feelings and our values and our beliefs, and be completely honest with who we truly are. Okay, because when someone's just fully conscious minded and they're not paying attention to anything that's coming up about how they feel or what's truly what they believe in, then they've got this conflict and they start creating all these kinds of problems for themselves. Now, you also need to know that your unconscious mind is the domain of the body and your emotions and your values and beliefs and all those kinds of things. So you need to be able to work with your unconscious mind in a way to let go of any old emotional baggage, any of those limiting beliefs that warp our perception of ourselves and what's possible. Okay, now to be able to clean that stuff at the unconscious level, you need to have trained your conscious mind to communicate clearly with your unconscious mind and to continuously guide the unconscious mind, right? Create safety and acknowledgement and all those kinds of things, as if your conscious mind is the guiding parental figure to your unconscious mind. We need to have conscious awareness of our reality and how we are creating both at an internal level and at an external level. Okay, so conscious awareness, so consciousness equals awareness. We need to be aware at any time, what am I feeling right now? How is this sitting in my body? What is my unconscious mind telling me through emotion or sensations in my body? I need to be able to listen to that and acknowledge it and translate it. We need to be consciously aware of what's happening externally to us and how we are reacting to that. Okay, so we need to train both our conscious mind and our higher conscious mind, or our conscious mind and our unconscious mind, I should say, so that we can then be a clear channel for the cosmic intelligence that higher conscious mind wants to share with us. Because our higher conscious mind is where inspiration comes from. It's where these messages come through. And if we haven't trained our conscious mind and we're jumping from one thing to the next, or we haven't cleared out all the old baggage from our unconscious mind, how are we going to receive clear messages from our higher self, our higher conscious mind? It's very tricky. So we need to be able to work with these three minds, and it takes practice. It takes practice to be aware of what you're creating through your thoughts, through your feelings, through your behaviors, through what you say to yourself, right? It takes practice to become aware that everything in your reality is part of your projection. And how do you interpret that, right? When you become aware of something external to you and how you're projecting that, what do you then do with that? You need to be trained to do that. Okay, so you think about this when we're training our own mind, right? Here's an example. Say, like, how often do you say that you want something? Say it was, I want to make more money. I want to make more money in business. Okay, but then you add a but onto the end of it, whatever it is that you want. Oh, I want to make more money, but I don't want to be working 24/7. I want to make more money, but I don't want people to judge me that I'm all about money. Hey, it's a mixed message. I want, but I don't want. It's a mixed message. So we have to get conscious awareness of these kinds of mixed messages that we're giving ourselves and change it. So instead of I want, but, make it an I want and. Okay, I want to make more money and have time to enjoy my life and spend it with my friends and family. Okay, if you don't think that that's possible, if you go, oh, yeah, sure, I'd like to make more money and have all the time in the world, but that's not possible, well, then you need to be aware that that's a limiting belief that you have. So that's something you need to work on and shift. Okay, so we've got to constantly be monitoring ourselves and getting awareness. Consciousness equals awareness, getting this awareness of what are we creating? Okay, so we've got to be aware of the feelings that we have within ourselves when we say we want something as well. Do you feel excited about what you're saying you want? Right? So say it's more money. Do you feel excited about getting more money? Or do you feel self-doubt? Or do you feel guilt? Or do you feel anxiousness about that? You need to get conscious awareness of this because you can't change anything which you don't acknowledge. Okay, so these are the really simple truths that I want you to take on board and really give yourself a reminder about, right? Give yourself as many reminders as you can to bring yourself into conscious awareness. So you can have reminders on your phone that come up several times a day. You can put post-it notes near your workspace or in your bathroom mirror or in your car. That might simply be a reminder for you to check in and say, how am I feeling right now? What am I saying to myself right now? What am I focusing on right now? Is it what I want? Does it make me feel good or does it make me feel, not so good? Am I giving myself enough space to allow messages come in for me? Because this is something we see now a lot of as well. People, wherever you go, I go out walking every day. None of people I see walking along staring at their phone. People can't even keep their focus in their present moment while they're out walking. Okay, so you think about that. If you're constantly glued to your phone, how are you possibly going to tune into your own inner wisdom? Because you're always tuned into what social media is telling you, what YouTube's telling you, what, other people are telling you. How are you ever going to get your own wisdom? How are you ever going to hear your own higher self if you're filling every moment with somebody else's thoughts and opinions and values? So this is really important, right? The more we get conscious awareness, the more we spend time each day meditating for the purpose of training your mind to have a single pointed focus. Okay, this is problem. People say, "Oh, I can't. All these thoughts just jump into my mind. That's an untrained mind. You have to train your own mind. And so this is why, I'm so passionate about skills like NLP, because NLP explains step by step, breaks it down, processes exactly how to use our mind in an effective way so that we can create the pictures in our mind that support what we want, that we can create the self-talk that supports what we want, so that we can create the states, the emotional states of what we want. We've got things like timeline therapy so that we can get rid of any of the old negative emotions and limiting beliefs, so we can clear all of that up. Okay, there's Huna. I was just teaching Huna the other weekend, teaching people how to bring in their higher self, how to meditate and connect in with their higher self, how to increase energy in the body. Okay, so you're at a higher frequency so that your thoughts and you've got a vibration that matches the kind of life that you want to be living. Really important stuff. So this is what I want you to think about. Right? If you knew, because you are, if you knew that you were 100% in charge of your reality and what you're creating, are you right now having thoughts, conversations, visualizations, daydreams about what it is that you want? Or are you running old stories about stuff from the past and things that you're frightened of happening in the future and things that you're worried about and things that you don't want? Because here's the thing, at any given time, there are hundreds of things that you could think about that you don't like, you don't want, you hope don't happen, right? They're all there as a possibility. Doesn't mean you have to think about them. Because at the same time, there are millions and millions of things that you could think about that you want, that you like, that you want to make happen, that you would feel really good about if they did happen. You can think about the good things that have happened and how good they feel. Like, train yourself to live in the reality of what you want. So set yourself reminders to do this, but also make it easy for yourself to be in the reality of what you want. So how do we do that? Surround yourself with other people who focus on what they want and create what they want. Do things that make you feel good. Get exercise. Look outside. Get off of screens. Give yourself quiet time where you're not bombarded by other people's thoughts and opinions. Turn off the news. Turning off the news will change your life, right? Make sure that if you're on social media, you're only following things that inspire you or make you feel good or that you can learn from. Don't watch rubbish, right? That doesn't make you feel good. That's like negative stuff. There's plenty of that in the world. You don't have to focus on it. Okay, so training your mind. Remember, you're 100% in charge of your reality and what you're creating, and you have everything. They say, where's the most important piece of real estate in the world? The most important piece of real estate in the world is between your two ears. It's in your mind. That is what you want to invest in. That is what you want to continuously learn about, to master, to train. If you put all your effort in training your own mind and understanding your own mind, you can create anything. It'd be the best investment you've ever had.